Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
We are a nation in decline.
Experts are preparing for what is known as Disease X, or the next pandemic.
What we are seeing is a revolution against the system.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rise and Grind with VinceTagliavia. These are just the news highlights I like to do in the morning. So welcome. We had a later show yesterday. If you missed it, go check it out. Some good stuff covered, some things that developed over the weekend, etc. Today, we are moving forward. It's April 2nd, 2024. It's Tuesday. It's a beautiful day. Hope you all are doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure if you're new, you subscribe and like and do all the things. Leave a comment on your way out later, and go ahead and send what you think as we go along in the live chats. Thank you, Wild Irish Rose, for tuning in over there, and good morning to everybody. We're going to get right into things. Hey, half the world is night. Looks like you've got your coffee. You're ready to go. We're going to start with finance, and then we'll move on with things. Kind of a light morning. Little things going on everywhere. A lot of things going on everywhere, but I'm kind of waiting for a lot of stuff to continue to develop. And it takes time sometimes to gather all of the details and facts. And when things just break, they're not clear. And I want to have a better, clearer picture of what's going on as things kind of unravel. And I'm not talking about anything in particular, just multiple things that come out. I like to get down into the dirt and actually see what's going on, because there's a lot of bad information that comes out there, or speculation that comes out as well. And I don't want to just purely speculate on things. I want to have some real stuff to look at, which I did bring. So we'll talk about it a little bit, but we're not going to go wild and make some crazy claims. Anyway, we're going to start with finance. The markets are doing horribly today. The markets are down. People say it's because the pessimism surrounding the rate cuts by the Fed. That could be part of it. I think it's obviously a very dynamic situation. Tesla is notably down 6% this morning. Let's actually go look at where they're at exactly now. Probably still down 5.3% still. Trying to recover a little bit. That's because their deliveries were down for the first quarter. Oil and gold are up, and silver's up. Bitcoin dipped down to $65,681. Walgreens reached a level that it hasn't seen in so long. Let's see if we could find it here. What's Walgreens's symbol here? I guess I'll look it up on X. Ironically enough, they say X is the everything app, so why not? Let's look up Walgreens. Does anybody know the symbol for Walgreens? Oh my gosh. Of course, Walgreens is one of those places that has just been looted over and over again. Let's see. Anyway, my goodness, such a sea of everything. So I looked up Walgreens on X, and everything is just about their prices or crimes being committed. So they're not. Oh, here we go. Walgreens. Oh, it's WBA. Walgreens has collapsed to its lowest price in more than 25 years. Let's look at their chart here. The lowest price in 25 years. Okay, this is it. It's at 1931. It's down 1.2% for today. And it hasn't seen these levels since 1998 or so. Look at this chart and show full screen. My goodness. That's pretty wild. I mean, we could lose Walgreens here. We really could lose Walgreens. I'm trying to pull up a long chart here. There we go. Share this. Yeah, so not good. Here it is. You can see we're at 33.93 here. And you don't see 33.93 until about here. And this is in, the year 2000. How about that? Still 24 years. Oh my gosh, the year 2000 was 24 years ago. Hide it before we all are reminded about how old we are. My gosh, horrible. We'll keep our eye on the markets though, huh? We're going to talk a little bit more about it. This is what they're saying on the internet. We've got Professor Stange doing good work out there. He says the fiscal collapse is on autopilot. Sharing this chart, they're saying that this bottom section here is mandatory autopilot fiscal spending or government spending. E.J. Antony, PhD, writes, the federal budget is on a collision course with Archimedes. Most of the spending is on autopilot and will continue to grow out of control, even if Congress cuts discretionary spending to the bone. And don't think we can inflate our way out of this by devaluing the dollar further. Much of that mandatory spending is indexed to inflation. Holy moly. So, a little bit of doom and gloom in the markets. I don't know how we're going to pull out of it. And I think that, perhaps somehow, some way, things are somehow resolved. However, I don't know the solution. There's a lot of theories out there, but it's almost like inevitable. But I think there will be some kind of solutions. What they will look like might just be kind of this New World Order situation is what a lot of people are worried about. But onwards here, I found this interesting. Zero Hedge published an article about college majors and which is the worst for finding a job. U.S. majors with the highest unemployment rates. Pretty wild stuff. And here's the chart. Ranking number 1 is art history, 62.3% unemployment. Ranked number 1. Underemployment is when workers are working less than full-time or in insufficient jobs for their training. Average employment rate of college graduates is 3.5%. This dotted line, which we can't see here, let me see. This dotted line at the edge, this is the average unemployment. And look at how much these exceed that. 62%, 56%, 55%. This is art history, liberal arts, fine arts. Even aerospace engineers, 17.9% underemployment. So these numbers are so high because this is people with aerospace degrees, engineering degrees, or art history degrees, and they're baristas or they're working at Walgreens, which maybe they won't be soon. You've got history, English language, mass media majors, physics majors, commercial art and graphic design majors, and sociology majors. A large majority of these, 30% to 50% or more, are working jobs unrelated to their field of study, which is not good. Oh, man. Pretty crazy stuff. Half the world is night. Good morning. Glad I never got a degree. Yeah, a lot of people are. Who was it? I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but I saw this yesterday. Andrew Tate. Not a huge fan. I think he's kind of a jerk, but he does say things sometimes, and you're like, well, that's true, regardless of who says it. So he said he never even got a GED. He never even got a diploma. I don't remember, was it diploma or GED, whatever. He never graduated high school. He says, I never graduated high school, and I've made, so many millions of dollars. I don't know if it's like 50 million or something around there. 50 million, about more or less. So he's, and then you had Elon Musk come out a few years ago, talking about, he doesn't care about a degree. if you are sufficient in the task, then it's good to go. And that's kind of how he feels about it too. And I feel the same way, although I think it has its place if you want to be a medical doctor or something very specialized. I think that it's important to be very well versed in it, and some kind of degree is probably a good idea. But for most people, I think we could do just fine without them. I think that the way we go to school and get jobs and do all this stuff, I think it's very antiquated. I think it's very inefficient, obviously. And I think that the future is going to look different. Yeah, and I never went to college. I went to trade school and I learned, and I was in aerospace for almost 10 years and all that. A lot of people don't know that. And I never got a degree, but I managed to somehow get, well, not somehow, like I don't know how, it's because I learned things. I got a job that required a degree, and I was the only person at this company that didn't have a degree, but was an engineer. So that was something I was really proud of, being able to manage that and actually teach courses. A non-graduate, non-college graduate teaching trigonometry and geometry and programming and doing contract work for aerospace companies and automotive and medical companies, all kinds of interesting companies. I worked on SpaceX too. I worked on the Starlink project, the parabolic dishes, and in California for a few weeks. That was good. That was fun, interesting. But yeah, you don't need a degree to do these things. You can learn it. You can learn it and find a mentor, immerse yourself in it, and do just fine. Sometimes there are roadblocks though, where someone might not agree with that, and they might say, "You don't have a degree, you can't. You're not a part of the club. I had to get a degree. That's just the way the world is. You have to get a degree, of course." But I think for the most part, it might be best not to. But everyone's different. I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm not saying don't further your education. I actually considered going to college myself, taking some classes, just learn stuff, because I like learning for the sake of learning. I don't care so much about the paper, or I'm not looking for a particular job, but learning's good. I will say that learning is absolutely good. So, and for some people, school's great. Anyway, I'm kind of ranting here. Hey, Energy. That's okay that you haven't reached out. You've been podcasting a lot. Cool. Good for you. Yeah, reach out anytime, man. I'm around. I'm on the internet. So thank you for tuning in. Hey, Liz. Liz, good morning. She says, because they're all woke majors, that's why they can't find employment in their field. Right on, Vince. That's badass. Thank you so much, Liz. They are woke majors, especially like sociology, art, history, liberal arts, fine arts, art. Art's wonderful, but isn't art more like a hobby? I mean, there are professional artists out there, but I studied the fine arts. Well, what's your career going to be? Are you going to work at like a art auction or something? I don't get it. Mass media, that was one of them. Commercial art and graphic design, it has its place. But yeah, mass media is not doing so hot. Legacy media is absolutely crumbling because of that problem, Liz. My goodness. Half the world is night. They get majors in blue hair. Oh my goodness. Okay. You know, I know some nice conservatives with blue hair. At least one. All right. Well, let's move onward here. Let's see what else we got going on. Nowhere in the world is seeing their standard of living collapse as fast as Canada. Wall Street Silver posted this video. So horrible to our Canadian brothers and sisters to the north. And, you know, we have to be careful. This isn't just a Canada problem, but it is bad. We have this video from a gentleman I want to share. And I'll pull that up right here. And we'll check it out. Actually, I'm just going to tell you what he says. We don't need to watch the video. Yeah, I don't want to watch the video. He says, nowhere in the world is seeing their standard of living collapse as fast as Canada. What's going on? Why is the standard of living collapsing? The reality is we're being destroyed slowly through inflation. We are told inflation is coming down, but if you pull up Shadow Stats, a source for statistics, It shows you inflation is well above target. The mass immigration plan has also distorted the economy. It makes it look like the economy is much stronger than it actually is. This came from TikTok. It was a guy at buzz.shock, at buzz.shock, and he's just going for a nice walk and talking about this. And he's right. He's absolutely right. I have Canadian friends, and it's not easy right now at all. And same thing with the US. Same story. I think it might be a little worse in Canada, actually. Believe it or not, go check out Canada, Canadian websites, Canadian Amazon, Canadian prices. It's absolutely absurd. And especially when you get to certain types of products that relate to health and different things, they do some wild, wacky stuff over there, in my opinion. And this man explains it pretty well. And this is wild, but he's right. $100,000 per year is not enough money anymore. And I believe this is an American guy. Let's hear what he says.
$100,000 a year. There's certain people that make $100,000 a year. And I was watching a video where a guy said he was making $100,000 a year. And he's, by the end, everything's said and done. He has nothing to show for it. He's kind of in the hole with certain things, right? And today's day and age, we're in 2024. You cannot survive off $100,000 a year, because $100,000 a year, that's not net, that's gross. After the taxes and everything, what you need to survive on a monthly basis, it's not enough. And the problem is, we all see these videos about people coming on. Like, for instance, today I seen a dude, an Amazon driver, in those little trucks, those little SUV Sprinter vans delivering packages. Dude's making, he says, $18 some change. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, right? And he's single, he's barely making it, living on his own by himself with the apartment and the expenses. And he was saying, can you imagine if I had a wife and kids? And that's what's happening. You know what I don't understand? People that are in office, I feel like they're not from this world. They don't really know what the average person is going through. The inflation is through the roof. Everything's expensive. Like, when we come back to the word $100,000 a year, certain people, when they hear that number, they go, man, that's great money. No, it's not great money. We're in 2024. That's not enough to survive. If you're not making at least $200,000 a year or 185, and when I say that number, if you really break it down and you have a family, that's even not enough. It's crazy. But again, I feel like the people that are in office, they're not with civilization, with us here, man. And I think we were saying that if he was to go and ask for a little bit of boost from help from the government, the assistance stuff, they're gonna tell him you make too much money. You make too much. That's crazy, man.
Anyway, he says if you're not struggling in life today, you're blessed. And it's so funny. There's probably people listening to my show. They do well. Some people do very well. Some people not so much, right? We're all in different positions, and you probably hear 100,000 and you're like, some people, wow, I live off of, like way less. I mean, there's so many people living in poverty here, especially like where I live. There's not, there's like some millionaires you wouldn't even think people are millionaires who are, but there's a lot of people who are struggling, not making a lot of money. And they survive on a lot less than 100,000 somehow, some way. But he's right. You make 100,000, you could really suck that money up really quick. And I think that it goes fast, right? But I do think I don't think it should be this way. I think that we should be prosperous, be able to, drive the car we want and this kind of thing, within reason. I'm not saying get like some, supercar or race car or something, but something reasonable within a range, right? Have some choices, not just like have no car at all or some car that barely runs. But people spend thousands of dollars a month just on a vehicle, right? And they make, their house payment, their mortgage payment, and then they have this and that and this bill and that bill, and then they go out and eat every day, and then their $100,000 they have nothing to show for it, right? So I do think that responsible spending does play into this. You make 100,000, but you've got these things. I think that's part of it. Yeah. But Still, he's right. He is right, I think. Half the world is night says he's right. My best friend's husband makes $100,000 a year and they still struggle. Homes cost a lot where they live. Yeah, if you're talking, if you're in California or you're in New York City or something like that, you probably aren't living there on 100K a year very well, at least, or you live with your family or something, right? I mean, yeah, it's very much true. Same thing with a lot of cities, by the way. So if you're not in California or New York or one of these expensive areas, you get it too. I mean, we all get it. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. All right, let me check the chat over here on Pilled. I don't want to forget the Pilled people. That's free speech platform over there. What do we got? Strange Paranormal, thank you for tuning in. Good to see you. Mary seems to agree with me, saying everybody wants too much. Bigger house, cars, electronics. Yeah, remember that Google, the Google glasses or whatever they're called? Google's AI. Are they AI or they're virtual reality goggles? They were like $5,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, something crazy. Who's buying that stuff? Actually, I know some people, but man, that is nuts to me. It's like $5,000 for a toy, just a toy that you put on your head like a hat or a mask. It's crazy. Good, Eric. Good to hear. Glad you're doing great. But yeah, I think there's a lot of careless spending too, Mary. But I think that we should be able to, live a little. I don't think we should be restricted. I think that it's important to have, a car and this and that, and a house. The sad thing is people make $100,000 a year. They don't even own their house. They're like renting and all this stuff. That's just crazy to me. It's like, you should at least have something to show for this, right? It's horrible. Flat Earth. We're having flat Earth conversations in the chat. Uh-oh. Here we go. We're not going to do flat Earth this morning. Maybe a late show. That would be fun. Let's see. Baltimore bridge collapse. They've taken some scans of the ocean floor there, or the bottom of the water. See what's going there. Whatever. You guys know what I mean. They've taken some scans to see the damage down there. It's not looking good. They've opened up a small passageway for small vessels to go in and out, but the impact remains. It's affecting some shipping. We'll keep our eye on that weird situation. And let's see, Facebook's under pressure. My gosh, sorry for that brief interruption. Facebook sold all of its users' private messages to Netflix. There was also a $100 million ad campaign tied into it. Some not so good situation for Facebook when it comes to respecting people's privacy. Yeah, they've just went and sold all of our information just like that. Didn't get much out of me, but they do get data. It says here from the lawsuit, Facebook extended API agreements, including a so-called inbox API agreement that allowed Netflix programmatic access to Facebook's users' private messages inboxes, in exchange for which Netflix would provide to Facebook a written report every 2 weeks that shows daily counts of recommendation sends and receipt clicks by interface, initiation surface, and or implementation variant, Facebook users, messaging app, and non-app friends information. Anyway, that's what's going on there with Facebook. It's not good. Yeah, and that's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. It's all these things. Zuckerberg just went ahead, sold that data. See what happens out of that. Onward here. Let's move on. In the search for news, there's nothing super major going on. If anything breaks, please let me know. and I'll kind of keep my eye on things as I continue. But basically today we have a lot of doom and gloom. Here we have Canada's FBI warning of civil unrest from falling living standards, and they predict the end of abundance in California, is how they put it. It's a quote. Then, yeah, Canadian living standards have could fall dramatically in the next few years, leading to widespread civil unrest, and that's according to Peter Stange, PhD. My gosh. It says here that Canada's FBI in a leaked secret report said that, adding that it could be the end of abundance in Canada. My gosh. Yet there seems to be no solution in sight here. We just keep careening deeper into this bad situation. New York City. This woman posted a video on TikTok, conservative guitar babe, and she was going on about New York City. She says New York City is legit becoming the worst nightmare. The gangs are brutally beating people up, and yet the mayor Adams is still saying you should vote for Biden. This one illegal migrant girl has been arrested 8 times. She was let go with no bail. What the hell is going on? Yeah, people are going on TikTok and all these places and really ranting as they start realizing things are not so great. And when it's in their face, they have no choice but to kind of acknowledge it. Horrible situation. It really is. When Eric says, when I was younger, it was a Viewmaster. We'd been walking around on our faces. $5. That's funny, Eric. $5. Yeah, it's funny. Liz says everything is going according to the Democrat plan. Yeah, it's weird, huh? I mean, gosh, it really does seem like it's all by design. Do I want to play a paranormal news segment? Strange paranormal. No, thank you. I don't want to because I haven't I don't know what it is. I appreciate the offer. Maybe I'll check it out after the show. Or we could organize something. Actually, I have a for VIP Plus members on YouTube. They could dictate a whole show. They could say, I want a video on paranormal, and I'll make it. That's for VIP members on YouTube. You could dictate any type of show you want. I appreciate it, though. Anyone, you can recommend it. I'll check it out later, Strange. Anyway, onward. Let's see what else we got here. They're fighting for freedom in places. Obviously, gosh, freedom of speech particularly. And this is in Scotland. We have the Hate Crime Act. And they are not happy. The Hate Crime Act.
Very good one.
New protests against the Hate Crime Act. It says here, Scotland's new hate crime law aims to tackle the harm caused by prejudice and hatred. But some argue it limits free speech.
We've gathered here on this unique day.
That's hard to understand, or we're not going to watch it. I'm sorry. No offense to Scottish people. I don't know what you're saying. But yeah, they're fighting for freedom of speech in Ireland. You know, and I was asking myself, I was like, do we even really have it here? Because did you guys hear the stories of people getting knocks on their door from the FBI? And they're like, hey, you know, we're just checking off a box. Wanted to come check on you. We were informed that you said something on Facebook. And we just want to make sure, are you okay? You good? Yeah, I saw one video of this lady, and she handled it very well. She says, yeah, give me a second. She goes and gets her phone, and then she comes back out, and she says she's recording them. She goes, okay, let me see your badges. You said you're FBI? And they go, yeah, we're FBI. We already showed you that. We don't have to show you again. And they went back and forth on that. They refused because they already showed it to her. They didn't want it on camera, apparently. And she basically told them, get out of here. Get out of here. And everything's fine. Everything's good. Get out of here. Pretty crazy stuff. That really happened. And it's not the first time. So I wonder, you know, we have the First Amendment, but at the same time, you post the wrong thing on Facebook, you might get a knock on your door. It's like, do we really have it? I don't know. But yeah, this is a problem around the world. Liz saw it. Biden's America. People are employed. Yeah, they're employed by us. That's right. They're supposed to represent their constituents. Maybe, these officials, right? My goodness. Yeah, people don't realize that. It's like, I made a meme about it the other day. Gosh, what was it in regards to? Oh, yeah, it was in regards to a video we watched later yesterday for the late show yesterday. And it was like, communities are on their own. And then it was the space guy with the gun. And he's like, they always have been. Communities are on their own. They always have been. Because that is like the top of the totem pole is the people. It's you, it's me, and it's our communities. And then the government's all below that. Right. So the fact that people are pushed around and all this is just absurd. It's not supposed to work that way at all. At all. What do we got here? Hillary Clinton is in the news. Well, actually, before we get to Hillary, everyone's favorite, let's talk about this. We've got Florida. The Florida Supreme Court is upholding a 15-week abortion ban. And they are going to be having a vote later. And what do we hear? What do we see? They need to, let's see here. The proposed amendment is going to appear on the ballot in November and will require a 60% vote to overturn the abortion ban. So that is the status on that. We'll see if it holds up, but an interesting development in Florida, banning abortion. Very interesting, huh? Onward. Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was on the Tonight Show last night. I'm sure nobody saw that because who cares? But she went and said when it comes on the election, she said when it comes to the two choices, get over yourself. Her quote is get over yourself. People that aren't happy with the option of Trump or Biden. She says one is old, effective, and compassionate. One is old and charged with 91 felonies. Oh, I'd love to hear Trump's response to that. I wonder, we should go to Truth Social, see if Trump has said anything, because, Trump's opinion, she should be in jail. And I think a lot of people can agree with that. Trump posted some border videos. I don't think he said anything about his friend Hillary. He said, Trump did post his $175 million bond, by the way, preventing the seizure of these buildings in the civil fraud case, the hush money case. So he has paid that, and he went on Truth. I want to just jump forward. We'll go back to Hillary in a second, but he went on Truth this morning. I haven't seen this yet. He said, I had to pay New York State in order to appeal a corrupt decision by a biased, crooked, and highly overturned judge. It's supposed to be the other way around. You appeal before you pay. It's a crooked New York judge. Is a crooked New York judge allowed to make you pay for the privilege of appealing a wrongful and corrupt decision? Not in America. He goes on. He says before that, under crooked Joe Biden, we have become a third world nation. Our borders are gone. Our legal system is weaponized. Our elections are corrupt. It doesn't get any worse than that. MAGA 2024. He's going to be in the great states of Michigan and Wisconsin today. Plenty to talk about. So is he holding a rally today? We'll have to keep our eyes open for that. Interesting. Anyway, that's from Trump today. Hillary also said that she doesn't understand why it's such a hard choice. And she said, quote, we have to go through the election and hopefully people will realize what's at stake because it's an existential question. What kind of country we're going to have? What kind of country? Yeah, she's just crazy. Yeah, people need to get over it. Just vote for it. Go through the motions. Get the election done. You're going to get what we give you. I'm just kidding. It's going to be a free and fair democratic process, and democracy is going to be wonderful. All right, onward. Hunter Biden defeated in his attempts to throw out the tax case. It looks like he may be held accountable here. Breitbart reported a little bit on this. Hunter Biden's attempt to have all his tax charges thrown out was defeated Monday, letting the criminal case against him move forward. A federal judge in California decided against Biden. So we shall see what happens there. They go on details about Hunter's habit of spending money on inappropriate things, such as that scandalous things, almost $1 million, while not supporting his family. Anyway, onward. We've got the Texas National Guard retaking the border in El Paso, defying federal government's requests. You know, the federal government can request all they want. It goes back to what Liz mentioned earlier of people actually having authority over that, and people have authority over their states. The states have authority over the federal government. So, yes, Texas can do whatever it wants, according to some interpretations of the Constitution and the way our system is. So, yeah, they're out there and they are putting razor wire up. Chuck Callisto shared a video from Matt Finn of looks like they're putting some posts in the ground, putting up some fence with 3 rows of razor wire in front of the razor wire fence that's already there. Good. You know, we should have some kind of protection. Most countries do. This is not a taboo thing to have a border. It's very common. And of course, like I said, we've got a lot of doom and gloom. This is just the world we live in today, unfortunately. I think a lot of it is warranted and real. I think a lot of it also is kind of, I don't know, like pushed. I think it's a little overly wild. Here we have the former top general warning of an inevitable ISIS terrorist threat to the United States. I'm not saying this is unwarranted. It is warranted, considering the border's been open and there have been illegal crossings, even terrorists identified at the border. But I don't know. We have more warnings here. And basically, this is a really weird way that he puts it in this article. I thought it was weird. So he said, unfortunately, we no longer place pressure on them. He's talking about the terrorists overseas. So they're free to gain strength. They're free to plan. They're free to coordinate and to outreach and hit us in our homelands, Mr. McKenzie said. He said, quote, so you'd much rather be playing an away game than a home game. We've chosen to play a home game. That's a weird way to put it. That was just my opinion when I was looking at this. Anyway, he talks about the real risk of a horrible event in the United States. And, of course, following the terrorist attack in Russia, where Russia came out and they said, we're going to continue to track people down in this. And, this is a whole thing about the information about global affairs. As he said, she said, Russia says it was Ukraine and the West, and the rest of the world is saying, no, it's just terrorists. It has nothing to do with that, so we got to look at everything and try to figure out the truth here. But that's kind of where we're at. We've got more. Blinken. NATO summit is to focus on Ukraine membership roadmap. They're really wanting to save Ukraine here. While a lot of people in Ukraine don't want to fight this war, you have a really low percentage of people that are not dodging the draft. I think there's like 13% of people are willing to fight in this war. Wild stuff. So we've got the NATO summit, and Ukraine's the focus. All right. I saw this too. This is some real doom and gloom stuff that I think is not warranted, but it may be. But I was looking into this, and it was because I don't know what. I was doing some reading about some stuff. Anyway, a stealth attack came close to compromising the world's computers, according to this website, economist.com. They said the cyber scare, perhaps involving Russia, shows the internet's crowdsourced code is vulnerable. Yeah, they blame Russia right off the bat, and that is the speculation from the person who discovered it, I believe. And this was published today, the economist.com. And basically, it's a story of somebody who stumbled across a piece of open sourced code inside like the little block that holds up all the internet, and they discovered that it was a vulnerable something placed there probably by a Russian, and that they fixed it. And then other people were like, I have no idea how they ever could have even discovered that thing. It's like incredibly unlikely, but it's good that they did. I'm just like, this article doesn't add up. It seems very odd, and maybe it is Russia, but at the same time, you can't just come out here and say, it was North Korea, it was Russia, it was, pick your enemy. Like, I get it. If I had enemies and something was weird, I would be like, they're probably trying to sabotage me. It's them, right? You'd be quick to point a finger. But I mean, let's be careful because of the implications of, global war, these kinds of things where people lose lives, and it's a horrible situation. I think that there's a lot of weird stuff going on. I don't even want to share this article, I'll be honest with you, because I think it's silly. I really do. And that's the story. Just be careful. The whole internet almost came down, everybody. We just barely missed, complete Armageddon. My God. Half the world is night. Yeah, it could get a bit depressing. Sometimes I just want to escape into I Love Lucy episodes. That's fine. You know what? Take care of yourself. Do it. Unplug. Turn the internet off. You're not going to miss much. I guarantee it. This is all unfolding so slowly. There's a very low chance things just crumble instantly, like they say was avoided in this Economist article. I think it'll be fine. I am still optimistic. I think we could get through it. I do think that also things could get ugly, though. So preparing in different ways for different emergencies is always a good idea. I recently wrote an article about just basic prepping on X. Not even prepping. I don't consider this prepping. I consider this like required by people. It's just to have a little bit of emergency food, emergency water, even just per like what the CDC and government organizations and FEMA says. 3 days of this, 3 days of that, some food, some water, some first aid, a plan. All these little things for their like emergency prep is important, especially when it comes to blackouts and etc. We are approaching the time of year where blackouts are most prevalent, the hot months, believe it or not. And so I was looking at statistics and all of this and that, have flashlights, have ways to stay cool, have ways to stay warm, have food, have water for at least a few days or whatever's recommended. It's important. And although statistically unlikely that anything happens and affects you, the world is going nuts. So who knows? I mean, I don't like gambling when there's serious stakes like that. So I do a little bit of what I can to prepare. There could be an earthquake, right? If you're on the West Coast or at the new fault line that's about to get passed over by an eclipse. I'm not saying there's going to be an earthquake. I actually don't think anything's going to happen with the eclipse. I think it'll just be a day where the occult people do their rituals and they start CERN up, oddly enough, and NASA does their rocket launch to experiment in the shadow, and people get wonderful pictures. I don't think anything wild will happen. Okay, that's just my opinion. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think, because there's a lot of rumblings going on and a lot of interesting stuff out there. I'm definitely watching though, and there is some weird coincidences. I'm aware it's passing over all of the Nineveh towns and all the weird connections and coincidences. I've taken my time and I know what's up. I know it's weird, but anyway, a little prep goes a long way. That's all I'm saying. And also, I think my article's still up. Let me make sure. I might have deleted it, but there's budget. I went through like ways to do this on a budget, to do a little bit of preparation. Like people are like, Vince, I can barely afford my normal food. You expect me to have like any extra food? Get out of town, Well, there's food banks, there's stuff like that. You could buy in bulk. You could save up over time. Me, when I need something, I stop going out. I don't buy those $5, $6, $7 coffees, go out and eat that garbage food like McDonald's, all that stuff. No, you can save like a tiny amount of money cooking at home if you're eating good quality at least. But there's things we could do to be proactive, not be victims, and save a few dollars here or there. Buy a can on sale here or there. Go to a food bank and get some food that you'll eat there. You want to get stuff you'll eat, by the way. And you probably won't even need it, and that's the best part. Hopefully not, and that would be a blessing. But a little bit of prep, a little bit goes a long way. Most people don't do anything. And then same thing for like neighbors and stuff. I mean, I have neighbors, and boy, if something went down, I don't want them to be in a bad spot, right? So it's like I bring it up once in a while in a casual way, like, hey, do you have a little emergency supply? There's a storm coming, right? Especially older folks and stuff. I bring it up because I don't want to, have to be put in a position where crap, my neighbor needs help and I could barely help myself or something like that, right? So anyway, think about the community too, because the community resilience is important. We don't know what's going to happen. We have weird stuff, and look at this weird blue UFO that was spotted in Arizona. We have multiple views of this thing. It's pretty cool. What is it? I don't know. This was on March, I think it was March 28th. And here it is. Oops. Let me give you bigger.
We don't know what it is. It'd be cool if we did.
It's just like lights.
If you do, please leave a comment.
It looks like lasers. Here's another view very far off. This isn't a very good one, but there's a jet flying by, and this is the same blue thing in the distance. It looks like a tiny blip on the screen here, but it's very far away. But right here by the mouse. A very interesting set of videos that came out. I think I have another one too. And this was in Arizona. Somebody saw similar ones in Canada, but I don't think they were blue. Very interesting. Someone says not a UFO. I have a UFO people looking at it. I sent it to Game Tech Politics too to see if he could figure anything out. He's reached out to people in the area. We're trying to figure it out, but pretty wild that you have multiple angles of this thing. It was recorded March 28th, and we actually have an article on it that was published on latestUFOsightings.net, which is pretty cool. And they talk about it. Blue cigar-shaped UFO captured over Scottsdale, Arizona. A night to remember. They published this on March 29th. Pretty cool. It looked like a blue string. Oh, here's a video of it. Maybe we can make it larger. No, this is a really bad video. Let's go see if we can move this up. There we go. Look at that thing. So weird, man.
Yeah, right. That cannot be like anything. Like it cannot be like drones or something.
Very interesting. And of course, it's a blue beam, right? We've all heard of Project Blue Beam and whatnot. The alien stuff, the basically the gaslighting to fake an alien invasion. That I don't think it'll happen, but it's so funny. It's not funny. It's weird. Vince, did you get a chance to check out Seisman Super Yachts about the bridge collapse? Thank you, Just Truckin' Morgan. No, I haven't. Where's the best place to look at that? Maybe I could just do a simple search online and check that out. I'd be happy to. I appreciate the heads up. I'll do that. I'll put it in my notes as soon as the broadcast is over. If anything else, or if you have any more information, let me know. I appreciate that. Just trucking. And if you're a trucker, thank you so much for trucking. Truckers are the lifeblood. Without truckers, we would have nothing, literally nothing, not even houses, not the clothes you're wearing, everything, the food in your cupboards. So thank you, truckers. If anything breaks, if anything goes down, news-wise, I will go live tonight. And so turn on your notifications and stand by for that. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you to the new subscribers and new members on YouTube. VIP membership, it's $2.99. It helps me out tremendously, keep things going, keep the bills paid, this and that, and I appreciate that greatly. VIP Plus members can dictate what I create videos on, so that's one benefit there. Thank you to all of my members. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate you, and everybody else out there who's tuning in and supporting me and just getting your news. Thank you all who tag me on X as well and share information. I appreciate that. You got Chelsea out there and a lot of other people, Game Tech and others who are diligent in sharing information and also just figuring out what is actually going on as these things develop, which is very important because there's, like I said, there's a lot of craziness out there. And the point of this is to kind of know what's going on, not to go down misleading pathways or anything like that. So we do our best. If anything is incorrect, I certainly will correct it. Always do. And I make mistakes. I'm just a normal guy trying to make my way in this wild world. Thank you, Liz. You have a great day too. Everybody else, have a great day as well. Take care. God bless and God speed.
We do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
2024 may be the year of a black swan event.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."